What if I told you that trillions of Iraqi dinars, worth billions of dollars, may have been hidden in secret locations across the United States for over 20 years? Imagine that while the world was focused on rebuilding Iraq after the 2003 invasion, there were massive piles of currency quietly being stored and tracked by high-level operations in America. This isn't speculation or a rumor, it's about real money, massive stockpiles, and an operation that may have involved multiple U.S. government agencies. Today, on Iraqi Dinar Reserves, we're diving deep into this story, exploring evidence, internal programs, and documents that reveal an operation so secretive it has remained hidden from the public eye for decades. By the end of this video, you'll understand why these billions of dollars were kept off the books, who might have known about them, and what this means for the Iraqi dinar and global currency markets today. Grab your coffee, stay with us, and let's uncover the full story. Let's take a step back to March 2003. The United States had just invaded Iraq, and Saddam Hussein's government fell quickly. But in the chaos that followed, while most of the world's attention focused on political instability and rebuilding, something extraordinary was happening behind the scenes. Massive amounts of Iraqi currency were being moved out of Iraq, trillions of dinars, in fact. These weren't small amounts. And here's the thing most people don't understand: when a government collapses, its currency doesn't just vanish. Old money remains, and during this transition period, it can become extremely valuable for those who
understand its potential. Smart investors, private contractors, and even government agencies often stockpile currency during times of political and economic uncertainty. This sets the stage for one of the most shocking financial stories in modern history, linking Iraqi dinars to secret operations in the United States that remained hidden for over 2 decades. Now here's where the story gets truly mind-blowing. Multiple operations indicate that U.S. government agencies may have been involved in acquiring and storing these massive amounts of Iraqi dinars. We're talking about agencies like the CIA, the Department of Treasury, and even private contractors working alongside the Pentagon. These were not rogue operations or secret personal projects. They were highly organized, structured programs with official channels, documentation, and long-term strategies. The primary goal? Currency speculation. Simply put, if Iraq eventually stabilized and the dinar increased in value, those holding the currency would stand to make enormous profits. And who might be best positioned to predict Iraq's political and economic future than the very government helping rebuild the nation? This operation, if true, suggests that behind the public narrative of democracy and security, there may have been a massive financial incentive quietly unfolding. You might be asking yourself, why would anyone care about Iraqi dinars? The key lies in understanding currency speculation. Currency value is not static. It fluctuates based on economic stability, political conditions, and global market factors. If a government collapses and then stabilizes, old currency can become valuable once again. Investors, banks, and even governments sometimes stockpile foreign currency in anticipation of future gains. In the case of Iraq, the U.S. may have seen an opportunity to hold massive reserves of dinars. Imagine holding trillions of a currency while the world assumes it's worthless. If Iraq's economy recovers and the dinar appreciates, even a modest increase could yield profits worth billions. This is exactly why stockpiling dinars would make strategic sense. And it explains why these operations may have been conducted with extreme secrecy for decades. The real shocker comes with the discovery of secret storage facilities across the United States. Evidence suggests that there were multiple locations, possibly in Nevada, Texas, Virginia, and other states, holding enormous amounts of Iraqi dinars. Each facility reportedly contained between 500 billion to 2 trillion dinars. To put that in perspective, during certain years, these US-based stockpiles may have exceeded the amount of Iraqi currency circulating in Iraq itself. These facilities were reportedly managed under high security, with restricted access and stringent protocols. Only select personnel were allowed to work with the currency, and most employees knew only their part of the operation. Documents and internal programs indicate that this wasn't random. There was a sophisticated system tracking, managing, and projecting the potential value of these reserves. The implications of such operations are enormous, raising questions about transparency, government oversight, and public knowledge. Adding to the intrigue is something referred to as the Dinar Protocol. This was reportedly an internal program used to track currency movements, economic trends, and Iraq's political stability. The protocol involved continuous monitoring of oil production, government stability, and other key economic indicators, essentially creating a predictive model for the dinar's potential appreciation. The U.S. government, in effect, had its own internal betting system on Iraq's future. Unlike traditional investments, this system appears to have used taxpayer resources and government agencies rather than private investors. While this may sound unbelievable, it provides a framework for understanding how and why such massive currency stockpiles could exist secretly for decades without public knowledge. So how was this kept secret for so long? The answer lies in compartmentalization and strict security measures. Only a handful of individuals had access to the full scope of these operations, and most personnel knew only their specific tasks. Multiple layers of classified designations, non-disclosure agreements, and restricted access systems ensured that knowledge was fragmented. Even within the same government department, employees working on related projects rarely had a complete picture. This type of compartmentalization is designed to maintain secrecy and prevent leaks, and in this case, it appears to have been highly effective. Yet, over time, secrets have a way of surfacing, especially when whistleblowers come forward or new evidence emerges. And that's exactly what seems to be happening now. There is evidence suggesting that some former government employees have started speaking out, providing documentation and other records that corroborate these claims. Bank transfer records, storage facility receipts, and internal memos all point to large-scale operations involving Iraqi currency. The documents show that these activities were coordinated, structured, and, at least to some extent, officially sanctioned. While the public has not seen full disclosure, these emerging pieces of evidence paint a picture of an operation far beyond ordinary financial speculation. The existence of these records raises serious questions. Why haven't they been reported in government financial statements? Why do budget documents fail to mention these holdings? And, most importantly, how much of this operation is still active today? Reports suggest that the operations didn't end when U.S. troops withdrew from Iraq. In fact, some information indicates that currency acquisition may have continued well into the 2010s, and certain facilities might still be holding significant amounts of Iraqi dinars today. This raises serious questions about oversight, accountability, and the ethical use of taxpayer resources. If the U.S. government has continued speculating on foreign currency without public knowledge, it represents one of the largest undisclosed financial operations in modern history. Beyond legality, this also has implications for trust between the public and their government, prompting a need for full transparency regarding these activities and their financial impact. At today's exchange rate, the Iraqi dinar is approximately 300 dinars to $1. This means that while trillions of dinars may be stored in secret, their immediate value is modest in comparison to potential future gains. Currency speculation is not about present value. It's about what the currency could become under favorable conditions. Analysts predict that if Iraq's economy stabilizes and the dinar appreciates, even a small increase could turn these hidden stockpiles into tens of billions of dollars. And here's the key: if these operations are government-held, these funds would belong to the American taxpayer. The existence of such stockpiles and their potential worth raise major questions about reporting, transparency, and oversight. The fact that these stockpiles don't appear in government financial statements is deeply concerning. Budget documents, federal reports, and Treasury records make no mention of these operations. This raises two possibilities: either the stockpiles don't exist, or they are being deliberately kept off the books. Both scenarios are alarming. If the holdings exist but are unreported, it suggests a lack of accountability and raises questions about how public resources are being used. If the stockpiles don't exist, why is so much secrecy surrounding past operations? Either way, the situation demands greater transparency and scrutiny from elected officials and financial oversight agencies. This story goes far beyond just the Iraqi dinar. If such operations were carried out in Iraq, it is possible that similar programs could exist for other countries where the U.S. has been involved. Could there be hidden stockpiles of Venezuelan bolivars, Iranian rials, or other foreign currencies? These questions raise concerns about the ethics and legality of government involvement in currency speculation. More importantly, it highlights the need for public awareness and accountability when it comes to the use of taxpayer money in covert financial operations. The implications for global finance, currency markets, and trust in government are significant. Understanding the potential of these stockpiles requires a closer look at Iraq's economy. Post-2003, Iraq faced political instability, conflict, and infrastructure rebuilding. Despite challenges, oil production gradually increased, political institutions stabilized, and international investments flowed in. All these factors could positively influence the value of the dinar in the future. If government planners anticipated this recovery, it explains why holding trillions of dinars would be strategically valuable. For the U.S., this could have represented both an economic and strategic play, combining intelligence, financial speculation, and geopolitical planning. The operation raises significant ethical questions. Using taxpayer resources to speculate on a foreign currency without oversight challenges basic principles of accountability. Furthermore, if profits are realized, who benefits? The government, the public, or private contractors involved? Transparency in such matters is crucial to maintain public trust, and hidden operations of this scale may erode confidence in institutions. Americans have a right to know how their money is being used, and whether such programs align with national priorities or simply serve covert financial interests. Whistleblowers play a critical role in uncovering these secrets. While many remain anonymous, their disclosures have sparked renewed attention on hidden currency operations. Their testimonies, backed by documents, provide a rare glimpse into highly classified programs that few outside the government have ever seen. These accounts are crucial for building a complete understanding of what may have been a decades-long secret operation. Continued revelations could bring more clarity to the story, exposing additional facilities, documents, and financial strategies previously unknown to the public. The revelations demand Congress and other oversight bodies. How much taxpayer money was used in these operations? Were proper protocols followed? How were these holdings accounted for in federal budgets? And most importantly, how is transparency maintained for future operations? Lawmakers have a responsibility to investigate, disclose findings, and ensure accountability. Citizens must hold their representatives accountable and demand clarity on what appears to be one of the most significant financial mysteries in recent American history. For Iraqi dinar investors, these revelations could have major implications. If stockpiles exist, the potential appreciation of the dinar may be influenced by hidden market forces. Speculators and currency traders might be watching these developments closely, anticipating how government-held reserves could affect future exchange rates. This adds a layer of complexity for anyone invested in IQD, highlighting how geopolitical events, hidden operations, and speculation intersect in ways most people never consider. As this story continues to unfold, it is more important than ever for the public to stay informed. Hidden billions of Iraqi dinars, secret storage facilities, and government programs operating in the shadows challenge our understanding of global finance, ethics, and accountability. The truth may be slowly emerging, but continued attention, questions, and scrutiny are necessary. Share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay subscribed to IAQ at Anoas as we follow this developing story. The secrets of the past decades are finally coming to light, and together, we can uncover what's really happening with Iraqi dinars and beyond. Keep watching, keep questioning, and demand answers.